We are back with Couple Movie Watchers. Today, I'm flying solo and I'm going to talk about the $1 billion Movie Club. We're going to break down the movies that made $1 billion or more worldwide. Can you guess which movies made $1 billion or more? Today's video, we're going to talk about that and more. So let's jump right into number 50. Coming in at number 50, making $1 billion or more, and that is Warner Brothers' The Dark Knight. Man, I absolutely love this film. This is probably one of the best Batman films in the franchise. Even when you mention the Batman, people always refer to The Dark Knight. This is probably one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Love this film. Had action, gritty story. Just a great story overall. Worldwide, this movie made $1,006,000,000. Not too shabby. Opening weekend, it made $158 million. So this movie did really, really well with an estimated production budget of $185 million. So congratulations to Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan, the whole team who created this film. Loved it. It came out in 2008. If you haven't seen this film, go see it. Rotten Tomatoes give it a 94 out of a 94. So this movie actually should have been higher on the list, but it is what it is. I'm just glad it made $1 billion. Next up, coming in at number 49, we have The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. This is also from Warner Brothers, making $1 billion and $17 million at the worldwide box office. Opening weekend, it didn't do as good as The Dark Knight, but it ended up making more over time, opening with $84 million. And this movie wasn't as well received. It had a Rotten Tomato score of 64.83. 64 is from the critics, 83 is from the audience. So this movie I actually haven't seen. So if anybody's seen this movie, let me know in the comments. Is it worth watching? I know it's on HBO Max. It's on my watch list. Should I go see this? All right. Next up. Oh yeah, that's right. Why don't you subscribe? You've been watching this long. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and let's move on. All right. So coming in at number 48, we have another Warner Brothers film, and that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This movie came out in 2001. Look how young they look. That is so crazy. This movie made $1 billion and $22 million worldwide. Opening weekend, it made $90 million, and the production budget was about $125 million. So this movie, actually, all the Harry Potter movies did really, really well at the box office. I love the Harry Potter ride at Universal. If you haven't been, check it out. It's a fun thing. Love their what's that? The beer thing. So this movie did really well. When we look at the Rotten Tomato score, it had an 81 from the critics and an 82 from the audience. All right, next up at 47 is Zootopia, which came out in 2016 by Walt Disney Studios. I'm actually surprised about this one, but a lot of people loved it. It opened to $75 million. It went on to make $1 billion and 24 million. Not too shabby. It had a critic score of 98 and an audience score of 92. So this was a very well received movie. And actually, this is another movie I haven't seen, but I probably need to watch it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus, so I'll check it out. Let me know, is it worth seeing? Is it as good as Sing or some of the other animated films that's out there? Leave your thoughts below. All right, and we got my man Johnny Depp. He's winning all type of lawsuits in this world right now. This movie is by Walt Disney. This movie made $1 billion and 25 million. It opened to 116 million and had a production budget estimate of 200 million. So this movie did really, really well. Came out in 2010. Actually, Johnny Depp actually has a couple of billion-dollar franchise movies, so he's not doing too shabby when it comes to his movie career. But this is a movie that people and the critics they didn't like it as much, but I think the name brand helped it. It had a 51 from the critics and 55 from the audience when you look at their score. Next up, we have 20th Century Fox Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This came out in 1999 before Disney was involved. It had a worldwide gross of $1 billion and 27 million. The opening weekend was $64 million, but it had legs, so it hit that $1 billion mark worldwide. Had a production budget of $115 million, and this one had another mediocre score of 51.59 on Rotten Tomatoes. And this movie was okay. It wasn't like the best. Really, I think out of all the new Star Wars films, I really enjoyed Rogue One the best. I think that one still holds up to me as one of the better Star Wars films that came out in more recent times. All right, let me know your thoughts on Star Wars as a whole. All right, coming in at number 44, we have Walt Disney again, and that is Finding Dora. This movie came out in 2016, made a whopping $1 billion and 28 million. The opening weekend was pretty good at $135 million. People really loved it. It has a critic score of 94 and an audience score of 84 on Rotten Tomatoes. This is another movie I haven't seen yet. I definitely need to check it out. All right. A lot of animated films so far. We have Universal Pictures, Despicable Me 3, which came out in 2017. This one made $1 billion and 34 million with an opening weekend of $72,000 and a production budget of about 80 million, which is really good. So this movie did really well. Actually, the Despicable Me franchise does really well for an animated film. This is definitely one of Universal's biggest movies ever. The whole Despicable Me Minions franchise, as a audience score of 53 and a critic score of 59 on Rotten Tomatoes. Moving on, we have my man Johnny Depp. He back in there with Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. This movie came out in 2011, another Walt Disney film, making $1 billion and 45 million at the worldwide box office. Had an opening weekend of $90 million and a production budget of basically a quarter of $1 billion. So this movie definitely cost a lot of money to make, but it hit that $1 billion. So at the end of the day, it was definitely well worth it. But people didn't really like this film. It had a 33 from the critics and a 54 from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. So sometimes the brand and the name can help a movie get to that $1 billion mark, but it doesn't seem like it was that well. All right, next up we have the last movie we're going to discuss today, and that is Walt Disney Studios Pictures Aladdin. This is Will Smith before the slap heard around the world, made $1 billion and 50 million. I think this is the only Will Smith movie that made $1 billion worldwide, and that includes Independence Day and all the other movies that Will Smith has been associated with, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? I really thought Independence Day made a billion. I have to go back and see what was the final number on that, but Independence just felt really, really big. This movie had an opening budget, opening weekend of $91 million and a production budget of $183 million. Overall, the critics didn't really care too much about this movie. It had a 57 from the critics and a 94 from the audience. But overall, it looks like we're going to do a sequel, but until that slap, things are on hiatus. This is a Guy Ritchie film. I would love to see, Will Smith get his career back on track. I know people have certain feelings. It's going to take a while to get him back to where he was because he kind of had that wholesome image. He might just have to play bad guys or action heroes from now on. It's going to be hard for him to be that wholesome, sweet guy after the slap heard around the world. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But until next time, check out our video on the next. I'm going to discuss the next top 10 billion-dollar films. But right now, that's it for today. I'll probably release it next week. But until then, check us out this weekend. We'll break down the top 10 movies at the box office. Thank you for checking us out. Until next time, like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.